Hi, everyone. I am going to start right away. I'll go through the updates of the shareholder agreement trial of Heejin versus Hybe that just concluded. The trial was for 5 hours. And so I'll go through everything. And then if you have questions, then we can do that after I present all the updates. This is just so it will be easier for me when I re-upload the content or the video after this live stream. Okay. So lots of things happened and I did not lie and I did not exaggerate in the cover of the video. So let me just get my dog because he wants to join. Come on. Come on. Sorry. All right. Okay. So here are the updates. So I'm just going to go, as I've said, I'm going to go through everything first. And then if you want to have a conversation after, we'll do that. Okay. So first is one of the things that were one of the first thing that was raised. Actually, not the first thing, but they actually grilled her about her conversation or text messages with the shaman. So Hybe's legal representative, whenever I say Hybe in here, I mean the legal representative of Hybe. They asked her about the text messages or Kakao Talk messages that she exchanged with the shaman 3 years ago. And they specifically asked her about the that one message when she told the shaman that she wanted to get on with it and that she wanted to have it. So Hybe asked her, what exactly were you referring to when you said that you actually wanted to have it? Okay. Now she said, I don't understand why I have to answer or explain a Kakao Talk messages that I did 3 years ago. And she said that this happened before she actually signed a contract with Hybe or before the shareholders agreement. So she doesn't think it is relevant. However, she did respond and she said that March 22 was likely the day when all employees move into the Hybe building, meaning the Adore employees. Sorry, all the employees of Hybe. So if you would remember, they rented this building where they are right now. And she was actually the one who facilitated the design. She was the one who assigned the offices to the different companies. And that's how she ended up in the top floor. So she said that that's when all the employees moved in Hybe, the new Hybe building, which she designed. And she said that um, earlier in the conversation in that thread of Kakao Talk messages, she said that it would be a shame to waste what I made since I was involved in the overseeing and construction of the building. I meant that it would be a shame to let it go. And she said then the rest of the things that I said didn't really have any particular meaning. So that was her expression. And then Hybe asked her, did you hate us? Like, did you harbor any kind of ill feelings towards Hybe even before you signed the contract, but nonetheless continued with the contract? And she said that emotions are irrelevant. And she said that establishing a label is a business decision and not something I could make on my own. And the decision was actually made by then CEO Park Ji-won and Bang Shi-hyuk. So she didn't really answer the question. She just said that it's not relevant. And by the way, everything that I'm talking about was taken from reports of Korean publications. Okay. Now, and I will put the link in the description box. Okay. So now the legal representative of Hybe said that, did you read about an article talking about New Jeans joining hands or working with Bana? So Bana is a music label in South Korea, and they're actually known for hip hop artists. And Min responded that she learned about it. She learned about that article being published, and she said that that publication is known for being pro hype. That's her response. And then Bana stands for Beast and Natives. And I don't know if you remember this or if you are familiar with Korean hip hop at all, but there was an artist named Essence. and his real name is Kang Minho, and he used to be a partner of Simon D. They had a team called Dynamic Duo. And they were under Amoeba Culture, another music label, also handling hip hop artists. Now, Essence got into trouble. He was caught taking marijuana, which is actually illegal in South Korea. So he broke off with the agency and he moved to Beasts and Natives. He moved to Bana and he changed his name, I think. Um, to something else. I don't quite remember, but he's pretty good. So if you want to check him out, go ahead. But he's really, really good. And then other artists signed under them is Binzino. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's pretty influential in the Korean hip hop community. So it's a pretty good, like they have a good reputation, this agency. And yes, they are known for hip hop. So she was asked if Bana has provided any kind of exclusive A&R services to Adore. And she affirmed that. She said yes, they were providing exclusively A&R services to Adore. And apparently the name Adore was acquired from Kim Ki-yoon. Okay. And Kim Ki-yoon is the CEO and founder of Bana. Okay, so she bought that name from Kim Ki-yoon, and it was way back in 2021. Now, Kim Ki-yoon is Min Hee-jin's ex-boyfriend. Now, it was disclosed in the court because Hybe asked her if they had a relationship, and she said yes. Kim Ki-yoon was her ex-boyfriend. Now, Hybe continued questioning her and asked her about the trademark deal. How much did she buy the name Adore for? And she said that the initial cost was 17 million won, which is about 12,000 US dollars. But then eventually she ended up paying 100 million won, equivalent to about 76,000 US dollars. And she said that that included the logo usage, and then other design services. And she said that it was a fair market price. So she was defending the amount. And then so Hybe zeroed in on the contract. And she said so some of the things that they revealed is that Bana was actually getting paid 33 million won a month. And also Adore was paying for some of the staff members of Bana. And also Bana was receiving 5% of New Jeans annual sales as incentives. Okay. So Um, all right. Okay. So just wanted to make sure that you're hearing me okay and stuff like that. So I checked the messages. Okay. And so Hybe argued that this is actually unusually generous. They said that this is actually too much based on the standard rate in Korean entertainment industry. And Min Hee-jin said that, and then they asked if it was approved by Hybe. And she said that she believed it was approved by Hybe. And it was based on a conversation that she had with the former CEO of Hybe, Park Ji-won. And she said that she thinks that Bang Shi-yuk also knew about the contract. But she said that she does not remember the circumstances, like she doesn't remember how the approval happened and stuff like that. And so the court actually pressed her for it. So the court said, no, you have to remember. Now, later on, Hybe said that later on, after that initial contract, a second contract was signed. And this one adds an additional 5% to be paid directly to Kim Ki-yoon, the former CEO of Bana, the founder of Bana. And so he was going to get paid 5% of everything that Nugents did, including the past albums. Okay. And then they raised the yearly incentive from 400 million to 1 billion won. And that's about 750,000 US dollars. So in the initial contract already included 33 million won monthly plus 5% of Nugent's annual sales. Wow, that's big actually, even in US standards. And then after in the second contract that they signed, they included 5% of all the works that New Jeans did before the second contract. and they raised the incentive to 750,000 US dollars or 1 billion US dollars. Okay. So Min said that she doesn't think it is excessive. She thinks that 1 billion is just okay. She said that's fair for them because she said that New Jeans achieved extraordinary success. And Kim Ki-yoon contributed directly to that success. And she said that many freelancers in K-pop earn so much more. And Kim Ki-yoon does not receive copyright royalties anyway, and so the incentive was needed because she believes that if you don't incentivize people properly, then they don't get motivated. And so she believes that Kim Ki-yoon is actually an artist, just like producers, stylists, and creators, and they should be treated equally and fairly. So she thinks that the 1 billion won, that's just okay for the amount of for the quality of the work that they provide. So Min Heejin said that within that 100 million won are conditions that are much better than those of other internal partners. So in essence, she's saying that they actually get less from other partners that Hybe is already working with. So Bana actually provides her more services. Okay. So that includes the 100 million includes the use of the logo, utilization of designers in the future, designers of Bana. And she said that we can prove the total amount of 100 million won is reasonable price compared to other designer fee or designer service fees, including other companies or Hybe. So again, she was emphasizing that if you compare that to other services or service providers of Hybe, they're actually giving me more. Now, Hybe claimed that under the contract, Adore would still have to pay incentives even if no music was released. And Min said that no, that is not true. They will always have something to do. So that is not true. And so it will never come to a point where they're not doing anything. And Hybe also said that Bana actually continued receiving that money, receiving that the 100 sorry the 1 billion Korean won, even after Min Hee-jin terminated her contract from Hybe. If you would remember, she was the one who resigned. And then Min Hee-jin said that, well, that's not my fault. I was already out of Hybe. Why did you continue paying him? And the lawyer of Hybe said, well, because we signed the contract. You signed the contract when you were still the CEO, and we have to honor that. And so now that they're not doing anything because Nugins is not doing anything, we're still paying them. So um, the lawyer of Hybe asked her and said that they went back to ask her about the approval process. And so they said that this is too much. Like this amount is big even for Hybe standards. And so are you sure that this was approved by Park Ji-won and by Bang Shi-yuk? And she said, and so Min Hee-jin said that, yes, I think we talked about it. I think that Park Ji-won gave me the permission to make the decision. And she said, but I can't remember the circumstances around it. And so the court actually pressed her. The court said, you have to remember. Did you get the approval or not? And so she was saying, I don't remember, but I have reasons to think that it actually passed, meaning she got the approval because she remember Park Ji-won telling her that this is something that you can decide on. So it's up to you whether you want to execute that contract or not. And also, she said that after that, they actually gave her the authority to appoint the board of directors of Hybe. And if you would remember, almost 100% of the board of directors of Hybe were actually her appointees. So she said, yeah, it must have passed because I remember being told that it should be my decision now. And then Hybe also asked her, is it true that you actually asked that Bana be given exceptionally favorable contract terms? And she said that yes, because they did great work. They do great work. She said that Bana, because they are a hip hop label, didn't even actually want to work with idols. And she had to convince them because she likes their music. She knows that it's going to be good for New Jeans. And so that's why she said, I treated them that way because she deserves it, because they deserve it, because I need their music. And she said that I'm more interested in other people's compensation besides Kim Ki-yoon, all of our employees were actually well compensated. And she said that that is her rule. She likes taking care of her employees. Okay, next. Um, she also stated that the way that I see it, this is her talking. The way that I see it, Kim Ki-yoon is an artist, the stylist is an artist, and I see them all as individuals. So basically, she's positioning herself as a compassionate CEO who thinks and about her employees, and she wants everybody to be well compensated. And she thinks that for her to be able to keep talented people, then she needs to pay them well. Okay, and she takes pride in that. She said for compensating fairly her employees. Now, Hybe actually asked her if she was planning to use Bana to take new jeans out of a door. Because, so if that is not clear to you, mean they think, or at least it seems that Hybe was theorizing that Min Heejin was going to ask Bana to take new jeans because she couldn't, because she had a non-compete. So she needed another company that would be willing to take new jeans out of a door or out of Hybe. And so they think that she was going to use Bana, but she denied that. She said, nope, that is not true. Okay. And then Hybe asked her, is it true that you promised Kim Ki-yoon a portion of your options, your put option when you liquidate it? And she actually admitted to it. Yes, she said that she promised Kim Ki-yoon that once she liquidates her put option, she was going to give her a part of it. Now, she said that that is not something extraordinary. She said that it has nothing to do with their relationship. They were already broken up at that time. But she considers him a very capable person, very talented. And so she wanted to offer him something, but she didn't want to go through the trouble of asking the company for it. And so she decided she was just going to take it out of her own salary or her own money. And so she said that it's not a strange situation. Again, she emphasized that he needed his music and he was willing to do anything to keep him. Okay. And then she also denied ever seeing the seven deadly sins document, meaning she said that she didn't have anything to do with the making of that document. But she said that everything in that document actually is true. She reiterated that Eyelet or the company of Eyelet B Lift plagiarized New Jeans, that there was album pushing, there was a jeggy. And she said, so it's not a document, it's actually a list of facts. Because if you call it a document, it seems like it's something malicious when it's just a list of facts. Everything in there is actually true. You were album pushing, you plagiarized, and stuff like that. Okay. Now, the other thing that Hybe asked her about was the non indictment decision. So, if you would remember, Hybe actually submitted to the police a complaint against her. And they decided that there is not enough reasons to prosecute her. So they weren't going to prosecute her. They weren't going to submit her for indictment to the prosecutor. And so they said, they asked her, is it true that you received 200 pages? Because that's what she said in her press conference. And she confirmed. She said, yes, I got 200 pages of that indictment decision. And then Hybe said, are you sure that it was 200 pages? Because usually a non indictment decision is just about 9 to 10 pages long. And so she confirmed again, yes, I got 200 pages, she said. And then Hybe said that your lawyer only submitted 19 pages. Now, even the court actually asked her again, are you absolutely sure you got 200 pages? And she said, yes, I got 200 pages. Now, the point was that she wasn't supposed to get 200 pages because that meant what she got was most likely the full investigation, the whole investigation report from the police, which is illegal. You're not supposed to provide that copy to any of the parties. You're only supposed to provide them the actual decision, but not the investigative document. the document that contains the full investigation. So she didn't seem to be bothered by all of that. She just confirmed that, yeah, I got 200 pages. And so the court asked her lawyers, can you actually submit it to us? Can you give us a copy of that 200 pages? And then the lawyer said it was us who actually submitted the 19 pages. So she had nothing to do with that. It was our decision. And she said, we don't think that it is needed for you to be, you don't need to see the 200 pages. So the lawyer said, we're going to think about, like, we're going to examine whether you actually need to see that. And so the judge said, well, at least can you confirm the number of pages or something like that? Okay. So now there was a lawyer allegedly because I haven't actually seen the actual video, but they said that this lawyer has a YouTube channel. He was a former prosecutor. He has a YouTube channel and the YouTube channel name is Law GPT. Okay. And he said that if Min Heejin got a hold of that 200 pages, that document, the full investigation document, that is actually illegal and that constitute like illegal practice or something. So the lawyer said if such an internal approval line investigative report was leaked to a party involved in the case, it would constitute a violation of official secrecy laws and a serious criminal offense that undermines the integrity of the investigation and is punishable by imprisonment rather than a fine. Okay, so we're going to see what's going to happen, but the judge is asking for it. Now, Min Heejin also stated that there is something wrong with Hybe's compensation system. So she's saying that Hybe is very generous in giving bonuses, compensation, shares, and stuff like that, but not to her. She said that for her, even though she was the highest paid CEO in the company, she said that to me it's not sufficient, but they're overpaying everybody else. Okay, because according to her, she did great work. Okay, so just for the record, Adore wasn't actually the one who was earning the most. Of course, it was Big Hit. And then after Big Hit, it was Pledis because of 17. And Nugent's actually, sorry, Bill Lift was actually earning more than Adore. It's just that they were also spending more because they were reinvesting their money in new groups. Okay, so instead of sticking it out with just one group, which is Enhypen, they decided, okay, we're going to go and launch another group, and then they are going to launch another group by next year. So they were reinvesting their money. Not everything was just income. So, however, she said that because the Hybe lawyer asked her, so if you think that Hybe is too generous, do you think that the shares that you got was actually and the compensation package was actually too generous? And she said no, it is not too generous when it comes to me. It's actually not sufficient. That's what she said. It's insufficient when it comes to me because I did great work. She said she thinks that she did provided the best work. Okay. Okay, next. Now, she said that it should be based on merit, the packages, the compensation packages, and the bonuses. And she said that the reason I describe it to be overly generous is because I questioned whether the label executives were getting the compensation because they were actually doing great work or because of their friendship with Bang Shiyok. And she said that if it that for in my case it wasn't excessive. If anything, it's actually insufficient. Okay. All right. So she said that I'm not sure if there was a proper evaluation of whether there was performance or not and whether the compensation matched that. In truth, it seems like it's just being handed out excessively right now. Personally, I felt obligated to ensure compensation for my employees. Okay. Now, she also emphasized that she's not suing for money. She actually wants to make K-pop better, meaning the contracts, the compensations, so nope, it's not because of the money that she's suing them. She just wants to make K-pop better, the entire industry better. And she said that people who are actually getting investigated for actual crimes, they're getting less articles than I am getting. So she hopes that this inequality actually ends. Okay, so I've actually discussed this. It's Hybe is a high profile agency because of BTS. So of course people are going to be interested. And so yes, people are going to be writing about it. Media publishing companies, media companies are going to be writing about it. And then she said that the mere fact that she never used her corporate card for anything, meaning her business credit card, they are issued the credit card by the company so that she can spend it on whatever coffee or dinner, whatever, taking out clients and stuff. She said that she never used it. So the mere fact that she never used it, she never got anything from it means that she's actually honest. Okay. And that she didn't benefit in any way, shape, or form personally from Hybe. Okay. She also emphasized that she has great work ethic and that her achievements actually shows that. She said that the reason she works so much from home is that she doesn't even want to waste time washing herself or driving. She just wants to be able to wake up and then start working right away. And she said that usually she would work all the way up to the wee hours in the morning. So she's very, very productive. And she said, look at what I achieved in SM and look at what I achieved for New Jeans. Okay. All right. So she said that because of all of that, the compensation that I got, this is her talking, because of all of that, then the compensation that I got is actually insufficient. Now, she repeatedly said in that hearing that Eyelet plagiarized New Jeans. She actually raised her voice when she was talking about this, saying that people who don't understand this industry take plagiarism lightly. But for some reason, that's actually their survival, that's their lifeline. So she said that all of that built up and plagiarism issue struck a nerve. I couldn't stay silent and watch it to be ignored and denied. So she was asserting it. Nope, they plagiarized New Jeans. Okay. And then Min also addressed early 2024 discussions surrounding revisions of the shareholders agreement. In the revision of the shareholders agreement, she requested that she be given exclusive rights to terminate or renew the contracts of New Jeans. And she said that it wasn't her who asked for it, but it was her lawyer, and she never saw that. So she passed the blame to her lawyers. So also Min revealed that according to her, so if you would remember, there was an issue with the PR person of Hybe calling a publication asking that they correct an article they wrote about the sales of New Jeans in Japan. So in that article, they indicated that New Jeans sold more than 1 million copies of their albums in Japan alone. And so the PR representative of Hybe wanted that corrected. And according to Hybe, they needed that corrected because they don't want to set the wrong expectations with the shareholders. And it was framed differently. I'm sure you remember that incident. Now, Min Heejin said that it was actually her who obtained the recording, and it was her who leaked it to the press. So, the press, the media. So, it wasn't the parents or anybody else. She was the one who got the recording, and she was the one who released it. She said that I raised the issue because I had to protect the discrimination against New Jeans within Hybe. I told the member's father I received this report. Let's use it when negotiating with Hybe because the father is outspoken. He said that he would speak up. And so I proceeded. Okay. So she cleared that up. It was her who leaked that recording. The other thing is that she admitted that in the guerrilla live stream of New Jeans, she knew about it and that she actually helped them in a way. So if you would remember, New Jeans clearly stated that nobody knew about their live stream. Nobody knew what they were going to say in that live stream. But she admitted that she knew about it and she gave them the phone number of the person that can help the girls do their live stream. Okay, that's second. And then third, she said that, but this wasn't to protect me. This was to protect them. That's why I helped them. But still contradicted what New Jeans initially said that nobody knew about the live stream. Okay, so in the closing statement, Hybe said that the purpose of entering into the shareholders agreement was to grow and develop New Jeans and Adore. To achieve that purpose, the defendant was required to do things that would help Adore. Instead, she violated the contract and she tried to terminate the contract of New Jeans or still steal New Jeans and get it into her own agency. Okay, and then in 2024 alone, Adore paid Min Heejin 2.7 billion won, about I don't know, 2 million US dollars or something like that in salary. Despite this, they said behind the scenes, she still attempted to take away New Jeans away from Adore. So She said that while Adore was still operating, they demanded that their shares be purchased for 27.8 billion won. And this is absolutely unacceptable. So she wanted to liquidate her shares already. So the defendant consistently claimed that everything, so the defendant is Min Heejin. So this is Hybe's lawyer talking. She said that they said the lawyer of Hybe said that she continuously claimed that all of this started when she complained about the plagiarism. Okay, that we did the audit because we didn't want her to raise any concern about plagiarism. So she said that Hybe said that's not true. There were records of her emailing and meeting with the parents of New Jeans, doing all of this research to find dirt on the different groups of Hybe, all the while planning for that separation. So it was those things that actually prompted us to do the audit, not because she complained about it. That complaint was already part of her plans. That's Hybe's point. So they said that if you look at the purpose of the materials that they submitted, so this is still Hybe lawyer talking, telling the judge, if you look at the purpose of the materials that we submitted, they ultimately showed that there was an intent to leave Hybe and to take new genes with her. So the documents that they submitted raising it contained raising suspicions of plagiarism. Okay. So for Adore's growth and development, still Hybe lawyer talking. For Adore's growth development, it was essential that New Jeans remained with the company and continue their activities under their exclusive contract. However, Min Heejin decided to raise all sorts of concerns, and she had Adore executives send a protest mail using the parents' names. So Hybe said that she purposely connived with the parents so that they could start doing all of these complaints instead of just working hard to make sure that the success and the work of New Jeans continues. Okay. And then Hybe said that materials that they submitted as evidence to the court actually contained phrases that Min Hee-jin often uses. So this is her voice, basically. If you read the emails that the parents sent, all the protest emails and stuff like that, you would hear Min Hee-jin. This is her voice that she used. And they said that under these circumstances, we question how the defendants could claim there was no basis for an audit or for an investigation. So the party of Min Hee-jin, of course, responded, and they said that the termination of the notice of the shareholders agreement was issued on July 8th. So they said that it means before July 8th, there was no issue. So the contract was valid. That's their point because they wanted to just talk about the shareholders agreement. So they said it's still valid because the termination was issued in July 8th. So before that there was no issue, they said. Okay. Now in July the shareholder agreement was terminated. Following that, Adore's board dismissed Min Hee-jin as CEO and she sought reinstatement and even filed an injunction, but it was dismissed. After that process concluded, she exercised her put option and resigned in November. So Hybe terminated the shareholders agreement in July. She was let go as CEO. She tried to go back, did not work out, and then um, she formally resigned in November. Okay, as producer of New Jeans. So the party or the lawyers of Min Hee-jin suggested that the defendant planned everything in advance, sending corrective emails in April, anticipating retaliation, holding press conferences, being dismissed. Sorry. So um, this is the lawyer of Min Hee-jin talking. Okay. So she's saying that they, meaning Hybe, is insisting that everything is premeditated, that she planned all of these things to take New Jeans away from Adore. But still, the lawyer of Min Hee-jin talking. They didn't submit any other document or any other evidence outside outside of what they already submitted in the past. And we've already refuted all of those things. Okay. So they said that they're just repeating the same things. We've already refuted all of those things. So it doesn't stand anymore because we've refuted them. Okay, so Hybe secured a witness. However, this is the new update from Hybe that they secured a witness that will prove that Min Heejin actually violated the shareholders agreement, and they are going to present that witness in the next hearing, which is January 15. So let's see what's going to happen. Okay, so this is the article that stated that on the day both sides displayed. Okay, so yeah, that's the article from TV Daily. So they said that Hybe stated that they have found a witness and they'll present that witness in the next live in their next trial. Okay. So that is the end of my presentation. Do you have questions? There's evidence from Fire Butterfly. There's evidence of MHJ planning everything. Where is the shaman and the laptop? A laptop has never been recovered. Catching this right before work. Thank you for next hearing is on January 15. January 15. Okay. Do you have questions? Wow, the great work ethic. Crazy pants, shirts, and tie. This is ridiculous, entitled and seriously cray cray. That admittance alone, her knowledge about the guerrilla live stream is a clear violation of the responsibility of a company's officer or director. She really graduated in the University of Asylum. Could it be that she knows of those New Jeans members that returned to Adore would reveal things to Adore? So now MHJ has no choice but to admit to certain things. That is why I feel New Jeans still working with Min Hee Jin. Okay, do you want to go back? Do you want to go down, baby? Okay, say bye bye to everybody. She just lie down. He just lie down and slept. Okay. So that is a possibility. It is also very possible that she knows. I mean, this is just me speculating. I have absolutely no proof that one is that maybe the girls actually told her what they told Hybe. That's possible. So, which is going to be crazy because I'm anticipating that when the two girls returned, when Hybe or Adore accepted the two girls, Herin and Hein, I am assuming that included in their contract is them swearing and promising they're not going to be talking to her ever again. I mean, that's what I would do if I owned Adore. That's what I would demand. And a violation of that would, of course, terminate the contract and they will have to pay. So it's crazy for me to think that because I would assume that that is included as a condition for Adore to actually accept them. But also, I do feel like she knows something. She knows what these girls possibly could be saying to Hybe. So maybe that's why, yes, there are things that she is starting to admit. Yeah. Okay. So January 15. Um, Lee is now VP Lee is now a director at the Black Label. No, she knows. No, she knows because the two girls' family would tell everything, so her lawyers will tell to out first. Someone said that the two returning members provide evidence against Min Hee Jin. It was a rumor, but maybe it is true. That's what I just stated. Yeah, I do think that they definitely told the two members Herin and Hein definitely said some things to Hybe, and they probably were under oath. They can't lie, otherwise that's going to entail an offense. You're going to have to pay the lawyer's fee and all of those stuff. So that's one. They cannot lie in that entire negotiation. Second is that they do have to give up some things that could be used against Min Hee Jin. That's what I'm anticipating. And I'm also anticipating that one of the conditions is that they cannot talk with Min Heejin anymore. So simply because I feel like that's just common sense. If you are an owner of a company, of course you don't want the girls to be talking to Min Heejin again. So yeah, that's a big possibility. And I think Hybe was asked about it. They just did not confirm. They also didn't deny. I have the same question about Bana. Does Hybe or Adore have grounds to sue? Um, Grounds to sue Bana? For what? No. I mean, unless they did something illegal. Meaning, for example, if they find an evidence pointing to Bana conniving with Min Hee-jin in her plan to take Nujin's out of a door, um, no, unless they have something like that, or any other kind of illegal thing, unless they have something like that, then no, they wouldn't have any grounds to sue because they are a provider. They provided work. They may have been overpaid, but that's not their fault. They put down a price and she agreed. Unless it's under duress, unless they got that contract under duress. But let's just say all of those crazy things are out of the question. And what simply happened is that they named their price. Minhejian agreed, so they're getting their money. They're getting their money because that's what is indicated in the contract. Then no, they cannot sue. Okay. Has the dolphin guy been given lots of extra incentive like the Bana guy? Um, I don't remember that in the hearing. The No, I don't remember that. They were definitely paid a lot. They were paid a lot. So they how much was it? 2 billion, I think. Something like that. Yeah, they were paid a lot. But so I guess that answers your question. Were they given like preferential treatment? So they were paid a lot, yeah. They were given the blanket authority to do anything that they want to do with the videos of new jeans and all of those stuff. But other than that, mm, they were yeah. So I mean those are big things. So I cannot wait. Okay, let me put this here so that you guys see like the video. Oh, the website. I'm always getting being reminded to put this. Okay, and then there's one more. Oh yeah, the QR code. Okay. So do you have any other question? Oh, it's gone again. Sorry. I suddenly became quiet. I'm trying to put this on the screen. Okay. Let's see. So Min Hee-jin's statement about the 200-page investigation basically proves that Yongsan police station was in MHJ's bag, right? Well, we can't say that. What we are saying, what the lawyers are saying, and the lawyer in that YouTube channel, Law GPT, and the lawyer of Hybe, and also the judge, what they are essentially implying, what they're essentially saying is that if you got that 200 pages document, it's impossible that that is the decision. That must have been the full investigation document. And if you got that, that is not good. Something illegal is happening. Somebody is violating something. It could be just one person, it could be the entire department. We don't know. We just know that there is a violation because she's not supposed to get it. Now, she's not very concerned when she was being asked that question about the 200-page document. She was just like, yeah, that's what I got. Who do you think the witness will be? I also wonder if the Davo Link CEO could give any info from his meeting with MHJ. Well, whoever that witness is, they have the prosecutor, so that's the side of Hybe, they will have to actually submit the information of the witness, of that witness, before the actual hearing. Now, because they need to provide the defendant, the side of the defendant, Min Hee-jin's side, an opportunity to cross-examine, to prepare for it. So most likely we will know who that is before the actual trial. Okay. Wonder what MHJ was telling Bang that he bought her in had to be completely different, but hardly anyone is iron proof against these types of narcy twisted people. I always say this. She's good. And I think that's why Bang actually got her because she's good at what she does. Now, we may disagree on whether or not she's groundbreaking or she's as good as she actually is. Doesn't change the fact that she is good. And No Jeans is successful. So it wasn't in that regard, it wasn't a wrong call for me for Bang Shiyok. Now, yes, she got a lot. She benefited from the resources of Hybe. All those brand deals that they got early, all of those came from Hybe. Hybe has already proven that. And the resources and the networks that she was able to get, all of those things. She definitely benefited from Hybe. Nugent's definitely benefited from Hybe. But we can't deny that she also did good work. So it's not like in that regard, Bang Shiyuk was wrong. Bang Shiyuk was wrong in terms of judging her character. But her skill, he wasn't wrong. So, but then we also know that, and Bang Shiyuk himself admitted that he's not good when it comes to putting together girl groups or probably just like putting together a female team because look at what he ended up with Min Heejin. So I think that's the answer to the question. Bang Shiyuk offered her a contract because she's good. Okay. No crazy things are out of the situation. It's all cray cray. My mouth is still open. I just saw Fairlane was live. I missed it. I missed a bit. For law Bana could be sued because MHJ gave them exorbitant money, which was more than industry standard. Hybe could charge the contract, change the contract legally. They can change the contract legally, but um, depending on depending on how much it is excess, because Min Heejin keeps on saying it is within industry standard. Hybe saying it's not within industry standard, so I guess we'll know. But as I've said, unless there is something more than just the compensation, they won't. So they can change the contract for sure. I'm not and by the way, a disclaimer, I'm not a lawyer. So anything that I'm saying here, I'm just reporting what's being communicated by the Korean media. Okay. Hi, Fairy Lane. I'm back, kinda. It's been like 5 months since I was on your live back in Qatar. I want to ask you, are you getting tickets for Dallas for the return for the comeback of BTS? So I am gonna try to go to as many cities as I can. My plan is to and so if that means so my plan is to get at least one suite. It doesn't matter whether it's my suite or somebody else's suite. I just want to be able to watch the concert from a suite. Okay, so that's one. And then I want to get another ticket that doesn't matter whether it's a suite or not a suite or whatever. I just want to get like another ticket. Now, if that means if the suite that I find is in Dallas, then I'll go to Dallas. It doesn't matter where. I just want to be able to get one. So that's the answer to your question. Can Bang sue MHJ for defamation at this point? Um, he can. He can. So he just needs to provide and he will be able to prove damage. But yes, he can at this stage. I don't know if he wants to do that right now, but he can. Okay, I'll go back to the whole thing afterwards. Will it post right away? Yes, it will post right away. Can Hybe go back at the police for that? For the 200 pages, if they are able to confirm that the 200 pages that she got was the actual investigation document, then yes, they can go after the police. Bang Luna probably will take about 15 minutes to process over before it will post. Can Bang MH can sue? Okay, so I answer that question. If the judge asked for 200-page document, why can they not give it to the judge? Um, because it's up to the to the lawyers to determine what they can submit or not, what it is that they need to submit that is relevant to the case. That's the whole point. Like it has to be relevant to the case. You can't ask for my income tax return if it's not relevant to the case, something like that. So yeah. Okay, let's see if there's any other question. The mistake was in giving her so much freedom. Definitely. I do think that that is the mistake. Um, but I think also that freedom was brought about by partly because of the success of New Jeans, the initial success. Um, and again, Hybe contributed that to that greatly. But yes, I definitely think giving her so much freedom was a huge mistake. She steals from other groups, and she also tried to make all the idols over at SM. At that, she worked with into little children. It came out that it was creepy. Oh yeah, like she kind of has a she likes that aesthetically pleasing kind of youth, very polished kind of youth. That's her thing. If you look at her, she hasn't actually evolved in the way that she does her aesthetic. Everything that she did for like all the groups that she handled in SM, it's the same aesthetic. That's actually why I don't consider her to be great, because I believe that you need to evolve as an artist, but she hasn't. It's the same feel over and over again. Of course, the details change, but it's the same feel. It's like that polished youth nostalgia kind of feel, but she hasn't evolved from that. So she really likes that feel, that young aesthetic, that young look from people. She stole good work. Yeah, she stole good work. And this is what I found out. Apparently, for talkies, for bunnies, they admit that they copied from other groups. But their point is that once New Jeans copies it, no one else should. So they should be the last one, because when New Jeans uses it, when they copy somebody else, it becomes theirs. So no one else should use it. That's their point. At least no one else in Hybe. Okay. Wouldn't that 200-page document be proof of crime committed? Yes. So that's what the lawyer of Hybe said, that if, and also this lawyer in YouTube, Law GPT is the name of the channel, that if what she got is really the actual investigative document, a violation of something. Okay. She definitely has someone in the police. Yes, Dallas. Okay, I'm asking because I have to fly in from Qatar, so to get a chance to meet everyone, I'd like to be there. Yeah. My preference is Las Vegas. If I'm given a chance, like if I can just request, I would like it to be Vegas, because the entire city is set up for this kind of an experience. But beggars can't be choosers. I feel like everyone and their mama and their dogs will actually be going for tickets. So whatever it is that I can get my hands on. Okay. Next question. The 200-page document is a police document. Police station only provide 10 to 20 pages. Yeah, that's what I said. So between Bana and Dolphiners, wouldn't this constitute embezzlement? She's defending it by saying that she likes paying them well, because she believes that for creative people to work well, you do need to keep them motivated. You need to compensate them properly. That's how she's defending it. So is it Hybe's lawyer that used this 200-page info and go after the police? They can do that if they are able to prove that that 200-page document was actually an investigative police investigation document. But for them to know that, they need to get hold of that document first. I hear MHJ and Genes have been making a mess of the industry. Yep. Yes. She's a genius in marketing herself. Like many people thought, she was also making music for New Jeans while she wasn't doing it. She was genius in a sick way. Yeah, she's a genius in well, I don't wouldn't call it genius in marketing. I think she is just more willing to weaponize certain things that other people aren't willing to weaponize. She was willing to weaponize the five girls. She was willing to use the parents. She was willing to use the fandom. And those things are, as we have already seen, some things that Hybe was not willing to do, even when they knew that Min Heejin was actually using it against them. So I don't know if you would necessarily call that a genius, because if you are willing to cross that line, there's a lot of things that you can do. Um, so I think that's her main, like her selling point, that she was very, very willing to weaponize certain things. She didn't have any problems crossing certain lines. Okay. As Vegas is also my preference. Okay. Looking for questions. Okay. So she's a genius in appropriating all the credit. I'm also making free. I'm also making free the 200-page documentation. She's a genius in stealing manipulation. Okay. Does MHJ think that she can repeat the success later? It doesn't look realistic. I don't think I think that she's very, very confident of herself, that she thinks she can repeat that success. I think that. So as you know, I'm studying psychology now. And so one of the things that I'm actually very curious about is whether or not, like, for example, narcissistic people, are they pathological liars? And so the answer, in one of the research materials that I read, it's that they they aren't liars because they actually believe what they are saying. And if you're like a narcissist, you have the tendency to look at yourself in a very, very big way. Like you inflate, you exaggerate everything. And that in that exaggeration, that includes your own ability. So she looks at herself very, very highly. And so for her, because she's very confident of herself, I'm not saying that she's narcissistic. I'm not a psychologist. I can't say that. But I'm just saying that I believe she herself is very confident of her own skill, and that she has this ability to really inflate and exaggerate the things that she's doing, that she would really believe that she can repeat that success anywhere else. And that is a narcissistic feature, which everyone actually has, by the way. We all have moments of narcissism. For example, every person experiences that, or we do that. The only difference between a real narcissist and people who exhibits narcissistic features or personalities is that the consistency of it, right? Because we all have our moments of thinking grand about ourselves. But then if you don't make it a habit, or if you are able to pull yourself down, then you're not a narcissist. So, but it is a narcissistic feature, personality, like whatever, character, of narcissistic character. Okay. My husband is a narcissist. He believes in his own lies. So, oh my God. That is horrible. Is she a narcissist or a pathological liar? Well, we can't diagnose. That's just another thing that I learned. Unless she is a patient, you actually can't diagnose. So we don't know. I'm just saying that we all have like narcissistic characteristics in us. Um, at one point of our lives, we exhibit those behaviors. It's just that the difference between an actual narcissist and people who have narcissistic tendencies, or people that exhibit narcissistic tendencies at some point, is the consistency of it. A narcissist will always look at themselves that way. And I don't know if she always looks at herself this way. So I hope that answers your question. It's long winded, but okay. Her worldview and her position in it is vastly different from the rest of the world's. She is very crazy, lol. I wish I thought grand of myself. I'm too busy self deprecating. um, I self deprecate too. And I've always felt that it's like it's a good balance, because, and this is something that, okay, so I feel I am blessed, like I'm always guided, depending on on your faith, I guess. Some people will say you're protected, or blessed, or guided, or lucky for some, or whatever. So for me, I see myself as very, very uh blessed. I'm very blessed. And so sometimes I get careless because I know that I will be blessed anyway, right? And so what I am able to balance that because I'm very self-deprecating. So, so I'm able to balance my not really ego, but just like my psyche. I'm not always so careless in the things that I have because in my head, um, I'm not good enough. So I need to do better and shape up or whatever. Because if I don't, with the amount of confidence in I have in how much blessed I am and how much loved I am, then I'm just going to be very careless. I don't know if that makes sense, but okay. The police report, is it the same as the attorney, as one attorney No Young he was referring to when she said MHJ was innocent? Yes, that is the same thing. Okay. Pathological liar, manipulator, gaslighting, playing the victim. My husband has all the traits of a narcissist. Hence why I understand how Min Heejin thinks and could see through her lies from day one. Multi-stan. Oh my god. I hope, are you okay? She is, you overthink too. I overthink. I overthink. I'm trying not to, but yes, I overthink. She is a victim of Dunning-Kruger effect. Hmm. I guess. Yes, yes, yes. About New Jeans girls, I genuinely don't see the three other girls coming back to adore, especially after that one live where one of them said Hybe has no artistic approach and such. And yet they said that they want to come back. Okay. So I'm going to let you all go. I also need to, I haven't slept. So I'm going to go to sleep now because I'm going to have to wake up in about 4 hours, 5 hours to drive my mom to the grocery. But thank you so much, everybody, and sorry for the sharing of my personal psyche. But it's one of the, I'm trying to be more aware of myself as well, trying to get myself to get to know myself better, and that's one of the things that I realized. I always feel so blessed and so loved and so guided, and whatever it is that, however it is that you want to interpret that. And a good balance is actually self-deprecation. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Um, and I'll see you tomorrow for my members of members only live stream. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. Bye.